All right, so you've been digging into cello posture, and it looks like you found some interesting stuff. This PDF especially, proper posture is key for cello players. I'm really curious about it. Seems like you're about ready to unlock like a whole new level of playing, not just a comfy practice session.
Yeah, definitely. And the connection between proper posture and musicality is something people often overlook, right? It's not just about looking good on stage or avoiding pain, it's about expressing the music freely.
That makes total sense. But I gotta admit, whenever I hear proper posture, it's like my mom's voice pops into my head telling me to sit up straight. So what's so different about posture for cellists?
Well, think about the cello itself, its weight, how we hold it, all unique challenges, right?
Yeah, totally. The PDF even talks about that, like getting hunched shoulders from holding up the cello. I know I'm always gripping it too tightly between my knees. It's kind of nice to know I'm not the only one, though.
It's super common, but those habits can really mess with your sound. The PDF even says that, like gripping the cello too much actually stops it from vibrating as well. Imagine singing with your hand over your mouth, same idea.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So it's all about finding a balance,
Yeah.
right? Supporting the cello, but also letting it resonate.
You got it. And that's where it gets interesting. Good posture, the source says, is key for better breath control.
Okay, that makes sense for like flute or something. But for cello,
Everything's connected. Good posture means your diaphragm's free to move, which gives you better breath support, longer phrases, more dynamic range. You can really shape the music with your breath, which is impossible with bad posture.
whoa, that's like a light bulb moment for me. Never thought about posture and breath control like that. Really makes you realize how important alignment is. But what about solutions? We've talked about problems, but what can we actually do to improve?
That's where those actionable solutions come in, and luckily the PDF has them.
And this PDF looks jam-packed. So where do we even start?
Well, it breaks it all down, makes it easy to follow. Like, one thing it suggests is to imagine a crown on your head gently lifting up towards the ceiling.
Oh, I like that. Way more elegant than just saying, like, straighten your back.
Right. And for the bow, it says to hold it as gently as you'd hold, like a little bird. Really makes you think about releasing tension, doesn't it?
It really does. And what I like is it doesn't just stop at those kinds of images, you know? It actually gives you exercises for specific things. Like, remember those hunched shoulders we were talking about? It suggests wall slides to help with that.
Oh, yeah. And for neck tension, which cellists are always dealing with, it recommends chin tucks. Even tells you how to do them right, step by step.
Which, let's be real, is super important. Because if you do it wrong, you could actually hurt yourself. But you know what really stood out to me? It talks about posture tips for different ages.
Oh, right. That's so smart, isn't it? Because a one-size-fits-all approach, especially with something as physical as cello, it just doesn't work.
Exactly. And since you're an adult amateur getting back into cello, well, let's dive into that advice specifically.
Sounds good to me.
One thing it talks about is how, like, desk jobs can really mess up our posture, which then affects how we play cello. You know that forward head thing we do, staring at screens all day?
Oh, tell me about it.
It totally carries over to the music stand.
All the time. We don't even realize how tense our necks and shoulders are until we try to sit up straight with a cello. It's wild.
Right. And it's not just about fixing that hunch either. This PDF talks about how important hand and wrist warm-ups are, especially as adults. We're not as young as we used to be.
No kidding. Easy to get carried away and overdo it when you're excited to play again. Those warm-ups, they're key for preventing injuries, especially in those smaller muscles.
And speaking of preventing strain, it also talks about setting up your practice space, right? Like having your chair at the right height, hips a bit higher than your knees, and making sure your music stand isn't making you crane your neck.
Yep. Small adjustments, but they make all the difference. Oh, and here's one I love. It says to practice with a mirror off to your left, like having a posture coach right there.
That's brilliant. It makes you realize we rely so much on how things feel, but seeing yourself play, totally eye-opening. So many little things we can tweak to make a big difference. But, you know, earlier you said something really stuck with you from this PDF. What was it?
Oh, it was just a phrase, really. But it talked about posture being a lifelong journey. Like, it's not something you perfect and then forget about. It's about always being aware, making little changes as you go.
That's a cool way to look at it. Not a destination, more like a process, right?
Yeah, exactly. And it got me thinking, this mindful approach to posture, it's not just for cello, is it? Like, we can use it in our everyday lives, too.
Right, like how we sit at our desks, stand in line at the store, all that. Bringing that same awareness to just, like, existing.
Totally. It's about that mind-body connection, but in everything we do. Who knows, maybe those little shifts in how we think about it, they could actually make us feel better overall, on and off the stage.
It's amazing how something as simple as posture can be so powerful. This has been really eye-opening.
It's been great diving into it with you.
I know I'm definitely feeling inspired to pay more attention to my own posture, whether I'm holding a cello or, like you said, a coffee cup. What's resonating most with you after all this?